where you're based?
Yeah, so I am a master's student in environmental engineering at CU Boulder.
Cool.
Yeah, and so joining this to get some more information about what people are doing across the country, across the world in the water sector.
Awesome.
Are you in the Engineering for Developing Communities program?
I am, yes.
Oh, okay. I am a graduate of said program. I did my PhD there. I graduated in 2010. So
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
It's a small world.
It is a small, yes. Very cool. What's
Hi, Bill.
Oh,
sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to ask what your research was on, Sarah.
I'm just doing the professional masters.
Oh, cool.
So I'm in classes, yeah.
Oh, great. That's great.
Hello, Bill. We're a small group today, so we're just chatting. Would you like to introduce yourself and share where you're from and your interests in this topic?
Okay. Bill Clark, president of the Osprey Foundation.
Oh, cool.
And I'm kind of being a fly on the wall all over the place today, continuing to learn. My managing director, Louis Borston, is my main thrust here, but indeed, we are working on systems development, and very much a part of systems development is the relationship between governance and implementers. So this is a very interesting topic for me, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Us too, obviously. We're very interested in it as well. And I think the purpose of this breakout group, for me at least, is to kind of gather some more information from others around, where we think this research should go next. And Katie just mentioned one of the potentials, which would be to just sort of make the end line of Global Partners research actually a midline, and to try to, because I think a lot of times, people put a little bow on their research and say, okay, this is done, when really I am always looking for more longer term research. But I think another thing that we've chatted about is whether or not it would be useful for this team to put together tools for continued research, whether that's by implementers or by funders or governments, anyone who is governing water systems, to be able to use the same survey tool to gather information, so that we're continuously building upon the research that we started. But wanted to get some input from folks on whether or not A, they think that's a good idea, and B, what some of the pitfalls might be to that. I know that whenever there's multiple researchers submitting data to the same place, it can be a little bit crazy. So didn't know if anybody had ideas on that. And then after we talk through where the research could go next, I'm curious about anyone's experience with decentralized or centralized water governance, and whether which they've found to work better, or any other topic that people would like to discuss. So I guess the first question is, after hearing from all of us today, where do you think we should go next in terms of this research, or what do you think is still missing? And I'm sorry that there's only two of you, because it kind of puts you both on the spot while you're eating lunch.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what the best way to do that is. I don't know if you guys have more input in that than I might.
And I think one of the good ways to get at that is, like, what questions remain for you too, in terms of, what do you want to know about governance and water systems that you haven't been able to find answers to? You know everything.
This is a little difficult with two of us here.
I know.
The trend towards local governance is certainly a positive. I've been working very closely with WaterAid and IRC in Uganda, and we have seen the benefits of localized governance. The trust, the responsibility, it all adds up. But as we go to scale, as we try to include everybody and make it a fully inclusive system, the national governance is still truly needed. And I think there is a large gap between local and national in the developing world. And we really need to understand the certain situations, the challenges that are ever present, and understand how to start overcoming those challenges. The fraud and the misuse of funds at the national level is just very hard to work through and get over, in a sense, in our current environment. So it's truly a challenge, but I see that link still needing to be wrestled with and tackled in some fashion.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I think that what's been interesting with the RWASA in Tanzania with that transition is that it has not been an easy transition in terms of, because local governments are still wanting to do the work, but knowing that it needs to be transitioned to national government, and that linkage is still not there. So I think your point about, I think this goes back to what Rebecca was talking about in terms of trust. It sounds like from your experience, Bill, that there's a lot more trust that exists at the local level than at the national level, maybe because people know one another and they feel like they have more of that two-way communication happening. And so maybe a key piece of going to scale at the national level would be ensuring that local, making sure that during that process, we're building up local level government agencies to continue to work with people and to have a real place in that process so that trust can remain. And at least right now, it doesn't seem like that has been smooth in the places where we did research in Tanzania. And so in Uganda, you're really finding the benefits of a decentralized system at the moment.
Absolutely, yes. We really have seen that in two of the regions that we work in the western part of Uganda. It's really very evident how effective the local governance has become with the help of the NGOs that we've been working with.
And it probably goes without saying that the stability of the national government is also key in whether or not a centralized water system makes sense in a given country. We have a new member. Hi, Anita.
Hi.
How are you? Would you like to introduce yourself and share where you're from?
Well, my name is Anita. Pardon, I'm from Rwanda, and I'm a WASH expert. I work as an independent consultant.
Oh my gosh, Rwanda is such an interesting case in this topic. So we're talking right now about centralization of water systems versus local oversight and what some of the pros and cons are. So I'm really curious your perspective on this. Sorry to throw you right in.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had the challenges to join the breakout group, so that's why I came in late.
No problem.
So you want me to reflect on how local governance links to decentralization versus centralization, right?
Right. What has been your experience with some of the pros and cons to being centralized versus having local government oversight of water systems?
Well, having the decentralization of water systems, it creates a sense of ownership
Mhm.
and contribute to the sustainability of the system, because the local government, as well as users, when there are mechanisms to involve them in the decision making, as someone mentioned in the presentation, it helps in sustaining the system.
Mhm.
That's what I can say, like a pros. The cons is local contexts are different. So when you have like favorable local context, when the water systems are like capital intensive, but also economies of scale, and also when you have like lots of pumping, you end up with high cost service provision, and decentralization kind of enhance that. So when you are in the favorable environment, you have to bear high cost as well. That's what I can say. It's a negative aspect of it, and that's where the national government comes in to kind of try how they can balance or support those kind of aspects, to alleviate those kind of aspects. That's briefly what I can say. I wasn't prepared enough to kind of.
I know.
Yeah.
I know people are since there's only a few of us, we're all participating here.
Yeah. So next turn, it's also good.
Katie, did you have other questions that you thought?
No, I think this discussion around sort of the benefits of the local level of trust and ownership, and how do you extend that appropriately to the regional or national scale, is so interesting, and I think just such a challenge. I'm curious if anyone has experience with sort of thought exchange or data exchange, data sharing that maybe can help bridge this divide. One of my roles is that I run this WaterPoint data exchange site. So that looks at WaterPoint functionality. There's some management components to that. So you can look at, community-based management versus private sector versus government, and kind of analyze data that way. But I'm curious if anyone else knows of exchanges that have been able to take some of these lessons that have been learned and kind of cultivated and customized to a local setting and had success. That kind of saying, oh, let's try and, it's like a franchise model, sort of like, let's try and take this to the next level, or let's broaden that. I'm curious about tools or approaches that others might have used to kind of try and bridge this gap between local and larger systems.
That's well, again, if I can build on the Rwandan experience, there have been a private sector involvement in the local, in the management of water system in a rural area, and where they started somewhere in the country, not everywhere. And then from the national institution, where they wanted other districts to embrace the system, they were using the experience of those who led the process to kind of help others embrace the system as well, and use data to adapt to their own context. I don't know if it answers your question.
So did those leaders go and sort of train others, or just through shared,
They
sharing
do
lessons
kind
learned?
of study tour. So they will take leaders from the district who want to embrace the system, go and visit the other system, the other districts, and they have meeting together. They learn from one another, they discuss, and then they go with what they think is workable in their own context. And then with the help of the national, there was like an organ at the central level that was facilitating those visits, and then will support the district that were new to the process to implement based on what they have learned.
That's great. I think it's really nice to be able to go to the directly to the people who know the most, and to have them share their experience, and maybe be able to look at the factors that are similar, the context that's similar and context that's different, to be able to advise. Because I think we know that the local environment is so specific, it can be challenging to take what someone else has had success with. But I think if you can have those people, you've got their brains, their minds, and their experience to help, maybe make it more successful somewhere else as well. That's really interesting.
So I do think, unfortunately, I know we all would like to talk about this forever because it's so fascinating, but unfortunately, I think we are out of time. So we will be, the GETF and the rest of the cohort will be looking into this question of what's next. And we're happy to share with you not only the scorecard, but also potentially some more survey tools to continue gathering data outside of this research effort, and to continue to pull all of that together. So if you are interested in receiving those things, please feel free to share with us your information, and we can get that to you. Otherwise, thank you so much for joining us, and I hope you have a really wonderful rest of your time at the conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I would love some more information about that. So
Do you want to put your, I can also take it, or if you want to put it in the chat.
yeah, I'll go ahead and throw it in my email in the chat.
Okay, thank you.
Saying the chat is disabled.
The Zoom chat or the?
Yeah, I'm just taking my.
Yeah, I think the Zoom chat. So in the chat on the website, would that work better?
Maybe, sure. We'll find it because I think that Mark will be able to have access to that stuff too. You can get it from
Okay.
us.
Okay.
All right. Thank you guys. Appreciate it. And we're happy, Anita, that
Thank
you're
you
able
so
to
much.
join since it's virtual. Very, very wonderful.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.